Hello, Dogwood here, and yes I do. Now before you get your Jimmy Young cookbooks out and start quoting chapter and verse at me, I really don't see the point of aubergines. When I had my allotment back in the Cheam reaches, I was often chastised for sticking to a strict regime of runner beans, cabbage, carrots and spuds. Of late, and part of my reason for fleeing Cheam and my life there was the preponderance of young men with huge beards and wearing what looked like over-tight clothing who suddenly adopted things like tending plants and creating craft beers from beetroot, avocado and greengage. I had two either side of me, Burton and Shackleton. These were their first names, by the way. They would try to befriend me and offer to test the acidity of my soil. I harumphed and told them to have a shave. Despite being a bit, taciturn, or just plain arsey with these goons, they kept up their "Hail fellow well met" act and would hum their Nora and the Whale dirges to themselves whilst tending their calabrese. Calabrese, I ask you. The other thing that they were very keen on pontificating about was personal grooming, or ablutions to you and I. They would be experimenting with dry lavender and sandalwood, extracting vanilla and creating intoxicating musks that they would then use as cologne. They moisturised using a chamomile and verbena poultice. Now I wouldn't recommend using Febreze as a deodorant, but when you forget your usual can of denim from Poundland, it serves a purpose, you see. It's not bad, a little overpowering, and affords zero possibility of a bunk-up on a speed dating night down at the Caravan Park Social, but it holds off the more extreme end of the offensive personal musk spectrum. Now I don't do talc. Not after I thought that Vim in the bathroom was talc and discovered that far from enveloping your masculine shells in an embrace of heavenly allure, I found that it just scratched like Billy O. Naturally, I do clean my teeth. I'm not a complete moron, you know. I use Eucril's smoker's tooth powder. It fair gets under my plate, but it's the equivalent of giving your gnashes a makeover with a lass from Barrow and Furnace. Shampoo. My old dad swears that if you mix Vosine with Atora, you get a fantastic 2-in-1 medicated hair wash stroke pomade experience. I've never tried it. I don't do pomade. I leave that sort of caper to Little Richard. A man's time in his bathroom is his own, and no other soul should know the rituals that take place there, nor what publications secrete themselves within the pages of the seed catalogue that provides my number 2 reading matter. Now some of you may be wondering what happened to some of the characters that I used to knock around with in the days when we were all a bit David Essex, leaning over the bars of the local Wurlitzer convincing the girls that we knew Elkie Brooks's milkman. Well, I don't know. I don't give a buggery 2 draws to what happened to them. Well, that's not true, actually. I do know what happened to them. Rosper the Dwarf has somehow followed me down here to Wittering's Twitterings FM, doing his usual delusional self-promotion, self-help claptrap. Lance, the fellow with the split personality, actually owns WTFM. I think Mr. B is still knocking out acid hip-hop versions of Mr. Wu. As for the rest, I haven't got a Timothy Dalton. Anyway, I'm off now to do my weekly shop at Budgeon's. Pork pie, I think, tonight, with a Belgian bun for afters. Can I still say Belgian bun since we're no longer in Brussels? Anyway, cheerio!